Welcome back to Truth Frame, World Memory. In the final winter of Imperial Russia, as the empire groaned under the weight of war, hunger, and revolution, a single night in Petrograd would become one of the most retold, and most distorted, stories in modern history. This is the story of Grigori Rasputin, and the night he died 3 times. World Memory Frame 4 looks into the night Rasputin wouldn't die. A night when a mystic peasant, a healer, a prophet, a manipulator, depending on who you ask, seemed to defy death itself. A story where myth and memory collide, and where the truth is stranger than the legend. The men who shouldn't have been there. To understand Rasputin's death, we must first understand his improbable rise. Born in a remote Siberian village, Rasputin arrived in St. Petersburg as a wandering holy man. Within a few years, he had become the most influential outsider in the Russian Empire, a spiritual advisor to Tsar Nicholas II and Tsarina Alexandra. To the royal family, he was a miracle worker who eased the suffering of their hemophiliac son, Alexei. To the aristocracy, he was a disease, a peasant who had infiltrated the palace, corrupting the monarchy from within. To the people, he became a symbol of everything rotten in the empire. By 1916, Russia was collapsing. And many believed that to save the nation, Rasputin had to die. The conspirators. The plot formed in the shadows of the Moika Palace. Prince Felix Yusupov, wealthy, eccentric, and desperate to prove himself. Grand Duke Dmitry Pavlovich, cousin to the Tsar, convinced Rasputin was destroying the monarchy. And several others, each with their own motives. They believed they were acting as patriots. They believed killing Rasputin would save Russia. History would prove them wrong. But on that December night, they prepared a murder that would become legend. The poison that failed. Rasputin arrived at the palace shortly after midnight. He was led to a basement room decorated like a cozy salon, a strange, theatrical stage for an assassination. On the table, cakes and wine, all laced with cyanide. The conspirators waited upstairs, listening for signs of collapse. But the collapse never came. Rasputin ate the cakes. He drank the wine. He talked, laughed, and asked for more. Hours passed. Yusupov later claimed he watched in horror as Rasputin remained completely unaffected. Whether this was true or embellished, one fact remains. The poison did not kill him. This became the first death, the one that should have happened, but didn't. Some historians argue the poison story was invented later to dramatize the event. Others believe the cyanide may have been neutralized by the sugar in the pastries. But in the minds of the conspirators, something supernatural was happening. The first shot. Panicked, Yusupov fetched a revolver. He returned to the basement, trembling. He asked Rasputin to say a prayer. And then he fired. Rasputin collapsed onto the floor. Yusupov checked the body. No pulse. No breath. He ran upstairs to celebrate with the others. They had done it. The mad monk was dead. This was the second death, the one the killers believed they had achieved. But the night was not finished with them. The resurrection. When Yusupov returned to the basement to admire his victory, something impossible happened. Rasputin's eye opened. He rose to his feet. Bleeding, staggering, but alive, he lunged at Yusupov and tried to escape the palace courtyard. The conspirators screamed. They fled into the snow. Rasputin chased them, leaving a trail of blood behind him. Outside, they shot him again, once in the back. He fell. Then a final shot, into his forehead. This was the third death, the dramatic resurrection and execution that cemented his legend. Whether Rasputin truly rose after the first shot is debated. The only accounts come from the conspirators themselves, who had every reason to exaggerate. But the autopsy confirms 3 bullet wounds. And the myth of the men who would not die was born. The river. To hide the crime, the assassins wrapped Rasputin's body, drove it to the frozen Malaya Nevka River, and pushed him through a hole in the ice. 2 days later, his corpse was found downstream, frozen and battered. Some legends claim he was still alive when he hit the water, that water in his lungs proved he drowned. But the autopsy did not support this. Rasputin died from the gunshots, not drowning. Still, the myth endured. Because myths are often more powerful than truth. The empire falls. The conspirators believed they had saved Russia. Instead, they accelerated its collapse. Within months, the monarchy fell. The Romanovs were imprisoned. Revolution swept the empire. Civil war erupted. Rasputin's death did not save the Tsar. It did not save the aristocracy. It did not save Russia. It only added one more ghost to a nation already haunted by suffering. The legend and the truth. So did Rasputin really die 3 times? Not literally. But the story of his death unfolded in 3 unforgettable acts. The poison that failed. The first gunshot. The final execution. The conspirators embellished their tale to justify their actions. The public embraced the myth because it fit their fears. And history preserved it because it captured the madness of a dying empire. Rasputin's death is not just a murder story. It is a mirror, reflecting the chaos, desperation, and unraveling of Imperial Russia. A moment when truth and legend fused into one. A moment when a man became a myth. And a myth became a warning. This is Truth Frame, World Memory. If you believe these stories matter, like, reflect, remember and subscribe. Your comments are most welcome. Your support fuels the next frame of truth. Thank you for watching and keep looking for my historical videos.